Nobody remembered his name that morning. He was just the shepherd boy who brought food to his brothers at the front. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a commander. He wasn't supposed to be anywhere near that valley. But he walked in anyway. And by sunset, the world knew his name. This is the story of Dawud, and it is unlike any prophet's story you have heard before. Bani Israel were in trouble. Their enemy had an army that stretched across the horizon. Their own soldiers were exhausted and afraid. Their spirit had been broken for years. They went to their prophet, Shamuel. "Give us a king," they said, "so we can unite and fight." Shamuel warned them. "What if you run when the battle comes?" They said, "We have lost our homes. We have been separated from our families. We will not run." So Allah gave them a king, Talut, strong, capable, chosen by Allah himself. But the people complained immediately. "Why him? He has no wealth. He has no great family name." Shamuel told them, "Allah has chosen him above you. He has given him knowledge and a powerful body. Allah gives his kingdom to whoever he wills. Some things never change." Talut marched his army toward the enemy. On the way, he tested them with a river. "Do not drink from it. Whoever drinks is not with me." Most of them drank, fully, greedily. Only a handful held back. And with that handful, Talut continued toward the battlefield. That is when they saw him, Jalut, 9 feet of armor, muscle, and terror. He had been standing in that valley for 40 days, shouting across to the army of Bani Israel, challenging any man to come forward and face him. For 40 days, not one soldier moved. Then Dawud arrived, not as a soldier. He had come to deliver food to his brothers who were stationed at the front. He was young. He was a shepherd. The battlefield was not his world. But when he saw Jalut and saw an entire army standing frozen, something rose inside him that he couldn't explain. He pushed through to Talut. "Let me fight him." Talut looked at this boy. "You are too young. Jalut has been a warrior his entire life. He has killed men twice your size." Dawud said, "I am a shepherd. A lion came for my flock. I fought the lion. A bear came. I fought the bear. I did not run then. I will not run now." Talut had nothing to lose. He offered Dawud his own royal armor. Dawud tried it on and took it straight off. "I cannot move in this," he set it aside, walked to the nearby stream, reached in, and pulled out 5 smooth stones. That was his weapon, a sling and 5 stones. He walked into the valley, alone. 2 armies watching from either side. Jalut saw him coming from a distance and burst out laughing. "They send me a child with a sling? This is what they think of me?" Dawud didn't stop walking. He loaded the sling, swung it once, and released. The stone crossed the valley and hit Jalut directly between the eyes. The giant, who had terrified thousands for 40 days, dropped, like a wall collapsing. The ground shook when he hit it. Silence. Then, the army of Bani Israel found their voice again, and the enemy, watching their greatest warrior fall to a shepherd boy carrying 5 stones, broke and ran. That was the day Dawud entered the battlefield as a boy and left it as something else entirely. What happened next, nobody expected, not even Dawud. He had gone to that valley as a shepherd. He had picked up stones the way shepherds do, out of instinct, out of habit, out of a lifetime of protecting his flock. He had not planned to change history. He had not planned anything. But Allah had planned everything. The revelation came to Dawud after the battle, not in a dream, not through an angel arriving with fanfare, but with the certainty that enters a heart when Allah chooses it. Dawud was a prophet. The same hands that had flung a stone across a valley would now carry the weight of prophethood. The same voice that had called out to Talut would now recite the words of Allah. And with prophethood came the Zabur, the Psalms of Dawud, a book of glorification, of praise, of a man pouring his entire heart toward his Lord, in words so powerful that the world around him responded. When Dawud recited, the mountains did not just echo, they glorified alongside him. The birds gathered above and joined his voice. The trees leaned toward the sound as if they too wanted to hear. The Quran says, "We subjected the mountains to glorify along with Dawud and the birds as well." Think about what that means. Allah did not give Dawud the miracle of splitting a sea, or bringing the dead to life, or producing a she-camel from rock. Allah gave Dawud a voice. And that voice was so filled with the remembrance of Allah that creation itself could not stay silent. And then there was iron. Allah softened iron for Dawud's hands, not with fire, not with a furnace, not with any tool, just his hands. He would take raw iron and shape it into coats of mail the way a potter shapes clay. He used this gift not to build palaces for himself, but to make armor for soldiers. And he sold what he made, never once taking from the royal treasury what he could earn with his own hands. A prophet, a king, a craftsman, who worked like a common man even when he ruled like a king. He became king after Talut, a vast kingdom, a just court, a man who carried iron in his hands and the Zabur on his lips. Power that he wore lightly. But power always brings a test, and Dawud's test came not on a battlefield, but in a quiet moment inside his own palace. Two men climbed over the wall of Dawud's private chambers, not through the door, over the wall. Dawud was startled. The men calmed him. "Do not be afraid. We have a dispute. Judge between us with truth." One man spoke. "This is my brother. He has 99 sheep. I have one, and he demands I give him my one sheep to complete his 100. Dawud responded immediately, without pausing, without hearing the other side. "He has wronged you. Many partners treat each other unjustly." And the moment those words left his mouth, he knew. He had judged without hearing both sides. He, a king, a prophet, a man of justice, had made a mistake in the one thing a king must never get wrong. The Quran says he fell in prostration and wept. Not for an hour, for 40 days. The man who had faced Jalut without flinching wept before Allah for 40 days over a single mistake in judgment. Allah forgave him and spoke to him directly. "O Dawud, we have made you a successor on earth. Judge between people with truth, and do not follow desire, for it will lead you away from the path of Allah." He lived by those words until his last day. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was once asked about the best worship. He said, "The prayer of Dawud, the fasting of Dawud." He slept half the night, prayed a third, fasted every alternate day. A king who ruled an empire and still stood before Allah in the darkness when the palace was quiet and no one was watching. Dawud defeated Jalut with a stone, but the moment that defined him was not in that valley. It was 40 days on the ground, weeping before the one who sees everything. Anyone can pick up a stone, but it takes a different kind of strength to put your forehead on the ground and admit you were wrong.